Okay, I want to take a moment to say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations.
Hey guys, welcome back again to my channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I came across this on my FYP, right? So everybody has been talking about how the whole Latin community has been going through deportation. In fact, a lot of people have been on the street protesting, and black people decided not to go out there to protest. And people are raged that why will black people decide not to go out to protest? They said they are not putting their bodies on the line for anybody anymore. And right now, they are also beginning to discover that DI was never the black problem, right? It has always been them that enjoyed the whole DI benefit. But right now, they felt it was black people before now, but right now their eyes are beginning to open that they have always been DI hires and DI has always been their problem. Well, I'm just going to let these videos roll, then I'll come back with my commentary. Let me know what you think in the comments. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Hit that subscribe button to be part of the family. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Credit to all creators on this video. So let's go watch. I'll come back with the commentary.
America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. And the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than his hate.
When white folks say black people didn't earn it, we all know that's just projection. 95% of Trump's cabinet is completely incompetent, unqualified white people. In America, the good old boy network is often more the reality than merit-based hiring. This is a perfect example of why DEI exists in the first place. Because in America, obviously, inequality, discrimination, and white racism is off the fucking charts. And it always has been. These are facts, folks. So when they say merit-based hiring, fuck you. A perfect example. Obama, as a black man, had to be literally perfect in every possible fucking way imaginable to get elected. He was a highly educated lawyer, a genuine family man, literally zero scandals, experienced in government, who was a true unifier that possessed integrity, moral character, ethics, eloquence, intelligence, and carried himself with dignity, respect, and he honored the office. With Trump, there's too many amoral, inhumane things to list, so I'll just touch on a few. Trump, as a white man, was elected despite being the most divisive, corrupt, immature, lying, manipulative, deceitful, treasonous, fascist, and criminal person to ever run for the presidency. Not to mention, who is a proven sexual predator and an openly racist person. My point is this: black folks in America need more than just merits and qualifications to get into positions in many white-run establishments. Not only do they have to be perfect, they need establishments and institutions that do not discriminate, which is why in a white supremacist nation, DEI is critical to help with equality and justice. But now the term DEI and DEI hire is being recoined as the new N-word for many far-right racists like our current administration. Important initiatives like CRT and words like woke have been distorted and demonized by far-right extremists in order to destroy racial progress and justice. These are the modern narratives of our diseased white supremacist nation. So when that racist motherfucker Trump says black and brown folks didn't earn it, he's just fucking projecting. Because he is likely the most unqualified, degenerate leader of a country in human history. Remember this. If you remember anything, remember this. There's only one reason why diversity, equity, and inclusion is being aggressively dismantled, why black history is literally being erased, and why brown and black immigrants are being rounded up. because our government is currently leading the largest white supremacist movement since Jim Crow laws started in 1865. Never let their hate and inhumanity become normalized. We must fight these racist far-right extremists at every single turn. Good luck.
Being Black and upper class has in no way been a persecution for me. It has, however, been a front row seat to a kind of white rage that affects everyone, no matter what social, racial category you slot into in society. This rage flies under the radar, it's made invisible, it's been around for a long time, it runs on the same economic, political playbook that it has since the end of the Civil War, and it's hurting all of you. All of you. Unless you're Jeff Bezos, but that's not you. A very small example of this is a couple years back, I was all dressed up with Black and white cousins. We're all dressed up. There's a good group of us, maybe 12, and we're going to the symphony. This symphony is it's manned by tons of volunteers, right? People who want to help you, people who are excited to see young people come to the symphony. And we get there and I've got my 8 or 9 tickets all connected. And this older white woman, member of my community, is doing the scanning. I can tell from the get-go, she doesn't really want to help me. She's peeved. And I'm thinking, why? I've got this huge group of people coming in. Like, this is a win for the local community symphony. So she scans all my tickets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She gets to the 8th or 9th one. I don't remember how many exactly we had. It doesn't beep. Now, mind you, I had to pick up these tickets at will call with an ID, with my name. And she knows this because she's a volunteer before I come to her. She scans the last ticket that has the symphony's name on it. I mean, it's got all the official stuff. And she explodes with this quiet anger and this total frustration. Like, she's just like, she knew it. She knew I was a thief. And she loudly, in front of everybody, accuses me, basically, of stealing a ticket and attaching it to the legitimate tickets, which is how you should do crime. No, that's a ridiculous thing. We sorted it out. We found out that, yes, while she was following the rules as to what to do if, I guess, a thief comes and attaches a fake ticket to a bunch of real tickets, she did not know how to use her scanner properly. But instead of having customer service, instead of thinking about how one should approach this, she responded with the anger that was already inside of her. She'd already assumed and knew that this kind of place was not for people like us, and she didn't want to have to let us in. And if she could get us out on a technicality, on a quiet rule, and she threw up her hands, I can't help you, I can't do anything, she would. That is a very tiny, low-stakes example of the work Carol Anderson, as a historian, has done in looking at the documented and demonstrated examples of rulemaking and code making that certain people in higher classes have used to quietly make sure that lower class whites and Black people with wealth cannot get ahead. When Carol Anderson decided to write White Rage, it had come after she'd been asked for the Washington Post to write an op-ed in the wake of August 2014 when the Black Lives Matter riots were exploding. Her critique was that we were looking at Black rage. We were looking at physical anger, destruction of property, all those different things. And she was making it very clear in that first essay and then in her book that you can't understand this rage unless you understand the other kind of rage. That's the rage that uses your political power, your legal power, to write laws and little caveats into things to make sure that you undermine the wealth of people believed to be Black, and you make sure that people who are believed to be white, who are in lower classes, never politically come together with those people. Now, who does that cost? It costs the democracy, and it costs all sorts of other classes that aren't in the ruling class. Because what they're doing is you're undermining, as she shows in her book, you're undermining voting rights. You're undermining this ability for the lower classes to look at each other and go, hey, our taxes should be going toward X, Y, and Z. Carol's research, I should say Miss Anderson's research, is an invitation to look at the kind of responses that have legally always existed to the advancement of Black people or the advancement of lower classes coming together and saying, this is how we would like to be treated. She's making it clear that if we don't look at the playbook, we're going to miss it in today's age. It's not something that happened back then. It's something that's happening now. We're going to be looking at this work because there's going to come a point in time when you are trying to rightfully access something that is yours, and you're going to be told that if it is given to you or if you want it, it's probably because you stole it or you shouldn't have it. As a historian, she's making these brilliant connections about how this is an assault on Black middle class, but then you can go out and see it's also the middle class as a whole. It's really important that we contextually understand our history because we're all bound up together, and all of our lives and our pursuit of happiness and liberty, it's connected. And there are reasons that people don't want you to understand that because you become dangerous when you know that. You're less of a victim and you're more of a threat. So I'm excited to read this book. If you've read this book, if you finished it, if you know of any other things of Carol Anderson's that you just really particularly want to look at, please write in the comments.
America's downfall won't be caused by foreign enemies, economic collapse, or lack of innovation. It will be destroyed by the very things it was built on: racism, greed, power, and the exploitation of the marginalized. So let's start with racism. America's had a centuries-long addiction to white supremacy, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to modern-day suppression. The system wasn't just built on racism, it still depends on it. And you can't build trust and unity and long-term prosperity when the foundation is hatred and division. Now let's talk about the power, because America doesn't just chase power, it hoards it. At the very top, power is concentrated in the hands of a few, bought and sold through billion-dollar lobbying firms and dark money, and the people at the bottom, well, they're distracted and divided and disposable. But power with no accountability always turns inward. It eventually devours its own. Then there's greed. Oh, America's true religion. Every institution, healthcare, housing, education, even justice is for sale. The rich don't pay taxes, corporations exploit workers, billionaires fly to space while families can't afford insulin. And no emperor has ever survived when it values profit more than people. And finally, exploitation. This country built its wealth off the backs of stolen people on stolen land. And to this day, it thrives off keeping black, brown, indigenous, immigrant, and poor communities in struggle. It's modern day plantation capitalism, wrapped in flags and hashtags. But here's the warning. You can only ignore the cries of the oppressed for so long before the system breaks. While America continues to argue about whether racism is real, the rest of the world is moving forward, investing in education, universal healthcare, green energy, and collective progress. They're building bridges, America's burning them. And yes, if this country doesn't confront its demons, it will collapse from the inside out. Not because of the lack of greatness, but because of its refusal to share that greatness with everyone. The future won't be stolen by guns or war. It will be lost in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms where equity is denied and truth is buried. And when America falls, it won't be a tragedy. It'll be a consequence.
Really funny how some people just try to live their life on other people's back. Like all your life, this is how it has always been. And no wonder you have a lot of palm colored people trying to gaslight, people of color at all time, trying to make them, feel bad, like a bait, sometimes telling them, oh, you have to go back to where you come from. Some stories like those kind of stories, right? And you guys, these people have always been so greedy, right? And trying every possible best to make sure that every other community does not see the light as much as they see the light. They believe that they are, blessed somehow, and every other person is called to poverty. So that's why whenever they see people who looks like me sort of, prosper, they find a way to gaslight them or try to paint them in a color that they don't belong, right? And that is why everybody was so shocked when the brown people, the Latino community stood up for these people and decided to vote alongside them. A lot of them were super excited that they are now, being a part of a community that accept them. To them, that was acceptance because they felt they were accepted at that point, not knowing that they just wanted their vote, right? Somebody made a video sometimes and was talking about how America wants to be white all through, right? And this might just be the reason why all of this thing is happening. They made you, gaslighted you into voting for them, and all of a sudden, the same people who were cheering you on and making you believe that you guys are together and are acting as if you don't belong to their class and don't belong there. And that's why you're seeing a lot of people who are from the Latin community being deported. Looks as if they're being targeted and deported back to, their country. Okay. And this thing has been on for years. And that's why most Black people will say, this welcome to Black experience. So Black experience has always been different from generation to generation. They've always known them for one thing. They have always seen them differently. They've always acted towards them differently. Every one of them has always faced one way, one ray to the cyst or the other, right? And that lady who was talking about how she and her sister went to a particular place and got accused and all that. We've seen all these things in the movies, okay? People are not sharing it live, that this thing is actually happening to them. This is what they are going through. That's to show you that actually there is something called Black struggle, okay? And these people has been struggling this way for ages. And that's why it's as if they voted for somebody they know or they felt understand them better and have better policies that was going to protect them and every other marginalized community. Even though the marginalized communities, the minorities in quote, didn't see the reason to vote for the person who they felt was the best person for them at the time. It's quite unfortunate that they're not finding out, right? but they found that the wrong time, the wrong season, and of course in a very bad condition. Because if all of this that is happening now did not happen, I don't think we're going to have a lot of people coming on the internet to tell us how they regret their votes, how they wish they had voted for Kamala, and how they actually are leaving MAGA just because of the treatment they are currently experiencing, which was warned them before that this was going to happen to them. But because they wanted to belong so close, they wanted to be all close to, whiteness by all means possible, they decided to vote against their own interests. And now they are now finding out that all of this while, they have actually never been an ally with palm-colored people. These people always wanted to be themselves. That is why they had these people, they've always lived on the back of other people and still see themselves in high esteem, even though every other person does things for them. Okay, they see themselves as a higher person, in the eyes of every other person, knowing fully well that these other people, without them, they can actually not survive it, right? But these Latino people didn't see all of this. It wasn't clear to them, but right now they are finding out, right? But guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this. Okay, let's share that thought in the comment. Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Let's have that conversation. And please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.